Namaskaram, Srimati Ramanujaya Namaha. We all have heard about a children's storybook called Horton Hears a Who. This is a children's storybook by Dr. Seuss. In that, there is a small town called Whoville, and the people of the small town, they live in a place that is actually a tiny speck compared to the earth, the universe that we live in today. This is actually a very good example to teach the kids the magnitude of the space, or the Brahmandam as we know, the cosmos, right? Not just kids. In fact, as adults, we all can get some perspective from the book as to how tiny the people of Whoville are, the Whos that are living in the tiny speck of dust. So we are like the Whos in this Brahmandam, that is the cosmos. Compared in both time and space, right? In this time and space continuum, we are this tiny speck of dust that is living in this place called Earth. So we live in a four-dimensional space, 3 dimensions of space and a single dimension of time. So in this 3-dimensional world, so we live in this rock called Earth. So this Earth, as compared to the size of the observable universe as we know. So scientists today, science tells us that there is Earth, the rock Earth that is in the solar system, which is in the Milky Way galaxy, and then there is the supercluster, and then the observable universe, right? As we know. So that is all we have found out so far. That's all science tells us so far, right? So this observable universe, when you compare that to the size of the Earth as a piece of rock, right? It's of the order of, you know, very minuscule, of the order of 0.0000000, so small, so tiny. So we are like the Whos in the Whoville in Dr. Seuss' book, in compared to the size of the universe that we all know. So that is with space. That is a comparison and perspective with respect to space. With respect to time, say the average lifespan of human life today is say 70 to 80 years, just say 100 years, right? Compare that to the size of the universe. The universal time span goes back to about several trillion years, right? And scientists say that there is light that is coming from several billion light years away. I mean, they're still traveling, they haven't still reached us. So that is in accordance with the time, just to give you sort of a perspective. So in this time and space continuum, we are this tiny dot, not even a dot, right? Even smaller than that. So if you want to think that this is some random event, hey, I'm part of this random event that occurred, or I'm part of this complex design by this universal supreme creator. In the Tamil Prabandham, Alvar says, Narayanan Nanmuhanai Padaithan, Nanmuhanum Tanmuhamai Shankaranai Padaithan. That is, in the very beginning, Sriman Narayana created Brahma, who in turn created Rudran, and then the Srishti continued, so on and so forth. That's how the Srishti happened. That is the process of creation. That's what the Vedic religion tells us. The Sanatana Dharma tells us that the Supreme Being created everything, and this is such a complex design, and we are so minuscule compared to that in terms of both time and space. And the Vedic religion also tells us that this time and space as a creation in itself is anadi, meaning it is endless. There is no beginning or end to it, and it is something that is beyond the comprehension of anything that we can understand at this point of time. I think even science tells us the same thing, right? So our perspective of the universe that we know keeps changing every day. For example, there may be several million planets that are sprawling with life as we are talking right now, right? So that's what scientists tells us today. So the observable universe, in accordance with both the time and space and how small we are, but for some reason, somehow we all think we are so important, and with the false sense of superiority that we all showcase in the words that we say or the actions that we do. So if we all think with such a fake sense of superiority, then we have to imagine the creator of this complex design. So if you and I think that we are so important, we have to stop for a moment. In physics, there is something called law of energy conservation and momentum. Let's all conserve that energy for a second and think about what is the purpose of my actions and words. Hey, what is that I'm doing, right? In Nammalvar says, in his Prabandham, Nammalvar says, Thidavishum berivali neer nilam ivai படற்பொருள் முழுவதுமாய் அவையவை தோறும் உடல் மிசை உயிரென கரந்தெங்கும் பரந்துடன் சுடர்மிகு சுருதியுள் இவையுண்ட சுரனே. He is the one that created this whole universe. He created this water, space, earth, the sky, everything, the cosmos. And not only did he just create, he is also inside each and every one of us. Each and every single atom and cell is him. So karandengum parandudan, he created all that and he went inside all that. And how big is he? He is beyond our comprehension. We cannot even imagine the expanse of his tall, deep, wide creation. That's how big he is. And if Perumal is so gracious that he is doing this for all of us, then what should we do? We should stop and think for a moment and understand that I'm part of this. I'm just a tiny speck of dust in this whole big creation, right? So my outlook towards things changes. If my outlook changes, then the way I perceive things, my perception and the view also changes, right? In Amalanadipiran, Thiruppaazhalvar says, Bharamana padavinai pattaruthu ennaithan bharavakki vaithan vaittadandri ennul pugunthan. Not only did he create, he also came inside me. How gracious is he? The Supreme Creator, Krishna, is so gracious that what penance did I do to deserve this? Do I even deserve this? I didn't do any big tapas like the rishis or the saints back in those days, but then he is so gracious to me also. So Goramadhavam Saidanan Kolo is asking, did I do any big tapas to even deserve this? No. And that Arangathamman, he is the one that is in my mind, body and soul. I'm thinking about him all the time, is what Thiruppaazhalvar says in Amalanadipiran. So we have to stop for a moment and understand that Perumal created this world for us and we are just a tiny little bit part of it. But our purpose here is to understand that Krishna did this for all of us. And what should we do in return? We should go and get hold of his lotus feet and live the dharmic life. That's what Sanatana Dharma teaches us, right? And we all also have a very big responsibility. So we all have a very big responsibility, right, to teach this to our kids. As parents to young children, we have a big responsibility to take this knowledge and share it with the kids. You have to tell them the stories of, hey, Krishna put mud and soil in his mouth and Yashoda came and asked him and he opened his mouth and showed the entire cosmos to Yashoda. That little Krishna is also the one that is going to save us. Who's the one that is going to grant us all the moksham, the salvation. So we should let our children learn and gain more from this wisdom, the jnanam, the knowledge that our rishis and saints and our alvars and acharyas have taught us, and it has been passed on from generation after generation. So it's a very huge responsibility and it's a very big task that we all should take meticulously and execute it. With that being said, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha, Namaskaram.